Hey guys, what's going on? WB Super Hard DX back here with another video, and today I'll be giving you my review of TNA Impact. Now, I'll be honest with you guys, I've not been the biggest fan of TNA Impact over the past, well, pretty much since TNA has ever been in existence and I've ever been a wrestling fan. I've never really been a fan of TNA. They kind of caught my eye in 2012. They were on a pretty good run with Austin Aries and all this stuff with Bobby Roode and Option C. And then in 2013 they kind of lost me. They got a little bit on the boring side. And then at the very end of 2013 I kind of started watching again. And I remember I watched this one episode of Impact and it was so bad that by the time the first hour was over, I felt like I did not want to watch this anymore. I felt like I was not a wrestling fan. I did not feel like TNA Impact that week was good at all. It was very boring. It almost put me to sleep, and that's the god-honest truth right there. But TNA has since improved, and they've gotten a lot better over the past couple months. You could say Slammiversary is when it really started all turning around for them. They had a pretty solid show in Slammiversary, and then they put the title on Bobby Lashley. I thought that was a really good idea. It's kind of like giving the title to a big guy. He can bring legitimacy to your TNA World Heavyweight Championship. You know, he's not some guy who has a beard and he's 5'6" or 5'9" or whatever height Eric Young was. But I think that Bobby Lashley can kind of bring legitimacy to the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and these New York tapings have been very good. I remember last week's episode was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I'm glad that they brought back the six-sided ring. That's always a plus. It kind of gives them their own uniqueness. But yeah, let's head on to the main part of this video, and that's the TNA Impact review. Now, you start off the show, you had Bobby Roode versus MVP, and this was a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. You had Bobby Roode, I believe he came up to the ring, and then MVP's music hit, but he wasn't coming out, and technically it was a Falls Count Anywhere match, so you could start it anywhere. So Bobby Roode came backstage and he went after MVP. I thought this was very cool. I haven't really even seen this before. It was kind of a unique way to start a Falls Count Anywhere match, and they would brawl all through the backstage area until they would come through the crowd, use a couple chairs and stuff like that, go down stairwells, and they would make their way through the crowd, and they'd go over the barricade and stuff like this. I thought this was very entertaining television, very good way to start off your show, kind of get a buzz with some very entertaining television, maybe even possibly bring in some more viewers. I don't know how it went. I don't really pay attention to the ratings. I don't even think they would be up yet because when I'm filming this, it's just a couple 5 hours after Impact, I believe. So anyways, yeah, this was a great opener. Then we had there might have been something in between here. I'm not too sure. I don't really remember. But next thing I remember, you had Jeff Hardy come out and announce that Matt Hardy would be coming back to TNA. So Matt Hardy comes out, and then Matt Hardy would say that he's back home in TNA or whatever, and then he would say that he wants to be the best team in TNA with his brother Jeff Hardy. So they said that the best team right now in the United States or whatever is the Wolves. So he's challenging the Wolves to the tag team titles. The Wolves came out there, they accepted, so they're going to be having a match at Destination X. This is a dream match. I know this is being taped, and I don't read the spoilers, but hopefully this is a good match for next week. Destination X is shaping up to be a really good show. It was pretty good, this segment overall. The only thing that they failed to do was after he said, we're going to face you at Destination X, and they got that over and done with. The commentators, or the Hardy Boys, or the Wolves, they failed to mention when Destination X was. So if someone just heard, oh, Bobby Roode vs MVP was a great match, and we're gonna now, oh, you know what, I'm gonna tune into Impact, and then they see this, and then they say, oh, well, you know what, I don't really feel like watching wrestling anymore, so I'm gonna tune out right after this. They're not gonna know when Destination X is. So that's the only complaint I have with this. But they did mention down the rest of the show when at Destination X was. So I think if the viewers did stay tuned, Destination X would have. I don't know. I just guess if they had mentioned Destination X earlier in the show, it would have made a lot more sense. And then we had the bromance come out, and they cut an excellent promo. I thought this was very good. The charisma was really good, especially with Jesse Goddard. He cut an unbelievably good promo. And then from out of nowhere, out comes Loki, and I really did mark out here. I remember Loki had announced his retirement about a year ago, or I don't even know when it was, but Ring of Honor announced it, and I knew that he had been working shows, so he did go back on him saying that he was retired. So a lot of people are suggesting that they bring back Loki. Again, I don't read the spoilers, so I went crazy when Loki came out. I was not expecting this whatsoever, so I thought this was great. And then it was DJ Zima Ion versus Loki. Now this is Loki's first match back in TNA in a long time, and to say the least, this match was very underwhelming. I think they could have done a little bit more, or maybe had a little bit more thought into it, but you know what, this is his first match back, so it doesn't really have to be the best booked, but you know what, whatever. And yeah, so DJ Z versus Loki, it wasn't the best booking, but you know what, it is what it is, and I'm sure they're going to be doing a lot more with Loki in the future. And then we had Anderson, Gunner, Samuel Shaw all backstage and doing this whole spiel. I think this was this was very good, with Anderson not trusting Samuel Shaw, and kind of because of their previous feud. So I really like what they're doing here with the storyline and the whole what was it? The Samuel Shaw was locked up somewhere. I forget what the name of it was, but yeah, I thought that was very good. And Gunner was trying to get him to become a normal person. A very good storyline. At first, I was a little bit apprehensive to the whole thing, but then it kind of grew on me. And then we had a backstage segment with EC3, Rhino, King Mo, Dixie, and Spud. There might have been more people there. I'm not really sure, but it wasn't really all that good. Then we go to Bram and Magnus versus Anderson and Gunner. It was solid. It didn't really have much time. It had some good spots in there with a few knees and stuff like that, and a comeback. You know what? It wasn't too bad, but it was enjoyable. And you know what? For what it was, it didn't last too long, so it didn't really bother me all that much. Then we had Abyss come out, and he would go after one of the competitors, and then they would all go at it and brawl, and then yeah, after that. So then we would have the long-awaited Option C segment with Lashley and MVP and Austin Aries and Kurt Angle. I thought this was a great segment. They really put over the X Division here. They really made it seem like the X Division was important and the Destination X was important. They mentioned all kinds of stuff like, and after I win this title, like Austin Aries was saying, after I win this title, there will be an Option D, and that X Division superstars can get a lot more recognition, and they can get a world title shot any time of the year, not just once. And I thought this was very good, and MVP kind of belittling Austin Aries and saying that Lashley is stronger than you, he's faster, he's more athletic, he's got more power, you know, and all this stuff. And then Austin Aries saying that he's a lot more tough than Lashley is, and you can't measure toughness with muscles. It's about the heart, it's about the dedication, and all this stuff, and just saying that the X Division title really means a lot, but yeah, they really put over the X Division here, and I thought that MVP's promo was absolutely great, and then Austin Aries' promo was a little bit better, but it was just, everything here was just A+. It was awesome, very exciting, and just really made me want to see the match between Austin Aries and Lashley. And I'm so glad I'm not looking at the spoilers right now, because I'm just really, the suspense is really killing me. I just want to see this match next week, and it really gets me pumped for Destination X. Then we had Gail Kim vs. Taryn Terrell, and they showed a promo before this match of them having ladder matches and stuff like that, and I was really shocked when I saw that, honestly, because I had never seen anything like that apart from maybe a picture on Facebook that said that showed the TNA's women's division, and they had like a sharpshooter and a ladder. Other than that, like that was crazy, and I actually kind of regret not watching Impact when that did happen, because those looked like great matches. So I was originally just going to skip over this match and kind of not pay attention, but that kind of brought a, because I usually don't like women's matches. They're not very entertaining. Sometimes, the odd times I'll watch them, like if it's a Divas matchup, or you know, if it's on a pay-per-view and I'm reliving the pay-per-view, most of the time I'll just skip over it because I don't care, and I'm sorry if that offends you, but it's just what I do. But yeah, this match was actually very enjoyable. It was actually given time. Most Divas matches in WWE do not give time at all, and I thought this was a great way to kind of showcase the knockouts, and I'm glad that they were actually given time, and now I want to see more now that the beautiful people interfered in this match. So great. It seems that there's a lot more positive to this show than negatives so far. Then we had the Great Muda versus Robbie E, and this was a squash basically. Great Muda would beat Robbie E very quickly. I guess they kind of just wanted to put over Muda as this Japanese legend, because the American fans don't really know who he is, so Robbie E was on duty. So yeah, not a very good night for the Bromans, I guess you could say. They lost to DJZ lost, and Robbie E lost, so definitely not a good night. They've had better nights. And at first I wasn't really sure what they were going for, and then James Storm came out and he talks to Muda, and he says all this stuff about him being from Japan, and that James Storm is the TNA original and he's the legend here. And Sanada comes out after James Storm spits beer and Great Muda's face, and you expect Sanada to come out for the save, because James Storm over the past couple weeks has been very mean to Sanada. So then afterwards you see Sanada chase James Storm out of the ring, and then I believe with a chair, and then all you see is Sanada swerve here, and he hits the Great Muda in the back of the chair. And this was another crazy moment. I was my jaw dropped because I was not expecting that. So yeah, very good here. It really made me want to see what's going to happen next week. You saw Sanada go off in the back with James Storm. This made for very good television. I really enjoyed this segment, so very good here. And then afterwards, you saw Dixie Carter in the crowd with King Mo, and they were addressing kind of the recent complaints. I know a lot of people on YouTube have been complaining that they've been kind of living on the ECW name, and Dixie Carter kind of explained that ECW is a bunch of has-beens, and that's just what Tommy Dreamer's doing and all this stuff. And you know, I kind of really like that they did address that, and you know, it was definitely a good move by TNA, I should say. Sorry. So yeah, I really I like that they did that. And then afterwards, we had a hardcore match, which was the main event. So this ran about, I want to say 8-11 minutes maybe. It was just brawling, your typical hardcore match, you know, to be in the main event. And then all you see is someone come out of the crowd, and it looks a lot like Joey Mercury when he first came in for the Straight Edge Society. He had the black hood on, he had a bandana over his mouth or whatever he had. He had jeans and boots, and you know, so you can't see what he looks like at all. And so that just makes you want to see who he is. And he tries to hit one of the ECW or whatever hardcore competitors, I forget who it was. And then security comes over, and then out comes another one at the end, and he hits another one. Again, I'm sorry, but I forget who he hit. And then of course Team TNA won, or whatever their name was. EC3 got the pin, and then it was later revealed that the two people who came in were Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky, and I was very surprised again. This is the I guess you could say fourth debut on Impact this week. You had or not debut, I guess you could say return maybe, because Loki is a return obviously, and you also had Great Muda, which I guess he's been on TNA before, but this is a return, I guess, I don't know. And you also had Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky, so yeah, that's a lot of returns slash debuts in one night. And of course everybody's going to be making this joke in a couple of days. What's Ezekiel Jackson and Snitsky doing in the Impact Zone? And all this stuff. You know, they're going to be calling him, I guess Ezekiel Jackson's now just going to be going by Ezekiel, and Snitsky, I don't know, maybe it'll be spelled differently. I'm not sure who owns the right to that name. But yeah, so overall rating for Impact this week, it was a really great show. I give it 2 thumbs up. There were a lot more positives than negatives this week. It was better than last week, and I hope Destination X can really live up to what I hope it's going to be. Destination X is looking like a great show, and hopefully it is a great show. So let me know what you thought of TNA Impact this week. Leave a comment down below. Like this video if you agree with what I said, and make sure to subscribe if you want to see more from this channel. And yeah, thanks for watching.